So we made it to the end of 2021, and so we talked about the worst movies of us. But come on, let's just all get happy this time. So let's talk about the best movies of 2021. But stop. Wait a minute. We need to talk. There's also spoilers that apply to the movie coming up. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, stop watching. But if you have seen these movies, enjoy the video. First things first with The Matrix Resurrection. The original Matrix is a classic, and when you bring back Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss after a disappointing Matrix Resurrection, we get to see them again, and it works well for me. That's good. But I just really got a little confused with how it was after Revolutions was when you have a young Morpheus and new characters that we haven't met yet. But that doesn't matter. I still enjoyed this one. Next up, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now, I know you probably might enjoy this movie, but I actually thought that after 2016's Ghostbusters, I thought they were just like missing this franchise, and I thought it was a bad idea because they've been recapturing the magic after 1984's Ghostbusters. Then there was a trailer came out, and I didn't think it was a really good trailer, and I was very confused, but it was Egon Spengler's grandkids, and it just keeps you Harold Ramis in to pay tribute to him and how special he was to Ghostbusters. And then I went to go see it, and I was like, hey, I actually really dug that. And they really actually pulled that off. And I like how they were able to keep the franchise going, even though they didn't even have him, Harold Ramis with them, because he passed away years before the movie was released. It was quite a smart idea. And then when you add Paul Rudd, it makes a lot of sense. That really works. And then you get right now the original Ghostbusters back, and when you do bring them back, it really, really, really works well for me. So they finally did. They finally captured the magic after all. Next up, The Mitchells versus the Machines. Now, this one is probably the best animated movie of this year. About this teenage girl who's about to go off to college, and then the family goes on a road trip with robots attacking the world and must save the world from robots. And they probably might be a weird family, but that's what makes them great. That's what makes them funny and enjoyable, only to just get along with each other and go on a family road trip before college. Next up, Dune, the moment of 2021. Adapting a book for the second time after 1984's adaptation, which some of y'all might have seen back or haven't seen yet, which is really good with Timothée Chalamet and everyone else, including the director Denis Villeneuve, able to remake Dune, and that's what makes Dune awesome. You have some little mix in, Star Wars and Lord of the Rings little mixed in, and it's really, really good. And especially when you have other people come in later on. We have Zendaya's character come in later in the final minutes of the film. And it turns out we are also getting another Dune sequel, which will be released in 2023. Can't wait to see that again. Can't wait to see Dune 2. Next up, we have ShangChi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, I really didn't really include my review on ShangChi, and have you seen ShangChi yet? Well, I really have to owe you all an apology because I really couldn't see this in the theater because I'm a busy man. And And so when I finally saw ShangChi on Disney Plus, and it came out on November 12th, it's good though. But the villain part confused me because I thought it was the sister was the villain, but it turns out that the father's actually the villain. And like we don't know if the father was actually the villain when they arrive to where ShangChi grew up with his sister and them and where he lives with his father, and how I understand how ShangChi's father has never taken the rings out because the death of ShangChi's mom. I mean, it looks really good though, but the villain part just confused me a little bit. But I like the chemistry between Simu Liu and Awkwafina. I mean, Awkwafina and Simu Liu had really nice chemistry, and especially with the sister coming along with them. And he knew ShangChi basically knew he had to care for his sister. I mean, that is quite a nice film about family and how you were able to come back and knew what you're supposed to do years later. But still a good time. Next up, we have No Time to Die in the Bond franchise. Daniel Craig's final Bond movie finally was released in the theaters after getting delayed multiple times, but it was definitely in a Bond accent. Wolf the way. Now, I really enjoyed the film and all the actions into it, and there are little things that I think does remind you of some old Bond films, like the entrance, the poison, probably the car, I think, when the car guns come out. Like, that's some great action in there, and the villain played by Rami Malek is probably a good villain, though. But the villain received criticism, but I really enjoy it, and I just really am glad that I got to go see a Bond movie for the first time in my life. Next up, we have The Suicide Squad. So a couple years back, ladies and gentlemen, director James Gunn was supposed to be making Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He already wrote the script for it. However, old tweets that he made 10 years ago were brought back up. They were very offensive tweets. So he got fired by Disney for like 7 to 8 months. And during those months, Warner Brothers snagged him out and they said, "We will let you make a Suicide Squad movie, and you can do whatever you want with it." And so we get James Gunn as director of The Suicide Squad, who found a way to make it like the Dirty Dozen with DC characters, and it was a blast, a really awesome blast. And I thoroughly enjoyed the characters, and I really cared about them. But there are some disappointments for me, like Rick Flag's death and the Polka Dot Man, which really disappointed me. But also, we are also getting the Peacemaker show that will be airing in 2022, so hope you all enjoy it. I think I had a blast with this, and it was totally fun and awesome. And my runner-up now we have is SpiderMan No Way Home. So you probably, sorry about that, that's the wrong button. Next up, so SpiderMan No Way Home, we have to talk about is that, first of all, Disney and Sony were having some completely disagreements about Spider-Man because they decided to not have Spider-Man in the MCU anymore. But in October of 2019, they brought Spider-Man back, and now we had a new Spider-Man movie, and I was very excited to see what they were going to do with this. And there were some rumors saying that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were in it. But if you haven't seen this movie yet, again, spoiler alert, stop watching this, please. But I thoroughly was excited to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man again. And see some old villains, like you have Electro, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Sandman, and the Green Lizard. And which is which does bring you back to the originals with Sam Raimi directing it, and Tobey Maguire, and the Andrew Garfield ones. It's really amazing and awesome. And it just brings you out with the man tears. And finally, my movie that I really enjoyed this year is my go-to movie, Black Widow. What you gotta say is this. Sure, it's been 5 years after, this was a Phase 3 movie that was missing, and it seemed like it was 5 years too late after, Natasha Romanoff's death. But it doesn't mean it was such an enjoyable movie, though. And I really did enjoy how it was like a bit of a spy movie with family in there. And especially when you get to see Natasha Romanoff again. And when you have a star that kind of stole the show from us in Florence Pugh. Which I really think it really did go well. Especially when you have David Harbour, who also did put you on a gigantic grin on your face. And I really enjoy the chemistry with Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh, and I truly enjoy it. But however, there is some criticism about the Taskmaster there because of what happens when the Taskmaster's face is revealed and reveal what the villain was all along. But that doesn't mean it wasn't such enjoyable. It put a gigantic grin on my face, and seeing Natasha Romanoff one time, so this comes in as my favorite movie of 2021. So that's it, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this movie, and I hope you all enjoyed all the movies that you all have seen this year. But if you haven't seen them, again, spoiler alert, just stop watching them. This video, because there are some spoilers coming up. But still, go check it out, guys. And also, a Happy New Year to all, and may the Force be with you, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.